Hey everybody, welcome back to ChampnSons and our NASCAR Racing Series, well really just Racing Series as we build a championship race team across all forms. I'm starting out here with the NASCAR Truck Series, and we are at our home track well, I guess it's not our home track anymore since Circuit of the Americas is in Austin where I'm from. But we are at Texas Motor Speedway here for the, the Venco 350. Vancor 350, and this is going to be a pretty long and grueling race, I will say that. Okay, so Texas is a weird track the way it's designed. You know, normally you think of kind of a tri-oval section that kind of flattens out up there. I'm not sure what they were thinking too much on the design of this track, but it's one that does lead to having some good speed, and it's wide enough coming around the turns and in that front section that you have a lot of 3 and 4 wide racing. So we got to definitely watch out for that as we come in. Now our truck's set up. We're at about a level 90 right here. Just trying to push, trying to keep good pace with our truck, find some good finishes, and continue to develop this team. This team is just starting out. All right, we're season 7, I think. Yeah, no, season 8. We're season 8. We're just looking to develop this team, starting with the trucks, and then we still have the Xfinity Series coming up next season, and then even the NASCAR series after that. So we got some good chunk of seasons to get through and a lot of things to develop here coming into this series before I think we even look to make a move to Formula One. So big things ahead, but first we've got to be successful as we are qualifying here in the 14th spot, although we were actually further back, but a lot of guys had to drop off because of failed inspections and stuff. And allows us to move up into P14 as we get this race underway with stage number 1 here. And lap 1 of 17 for stage number 1 coming out of turn 2. Onto this back straightaway we maintain P14, and you can see there is already some separation between two groups happening. At these speedway tracks, that's kind of how this thing works. You know, you try to keep everything grouped up so you have everybody within striking distance of you, but sometimes that's just not possible. And it looks like this front group has just broken away from the back half of the cars as we are all trying to make a mad dash for the front of this thing and keep those leaders up close as we're now in P13, pushing at the bottom of the track coming out of turn 2, right behind Ross Chastain. And now we've got Ben Rhodes as our draft partner, who's going to try to push us up in. We get underneath X, but it gives us a little bit too much of a shove and push almost 3 wide right there. However, we do claim a top 10 spot now coming out of turn number 4. Losing our little bit of our traction, coming in with a lot of speed here. I'm not used to it. We're getting a little loose, and Rhodes takes advantage as we bump into Majeski and almost lose that one. Regain control of ourselves and slow it down, slide to the bottom of the track as we hit Austin Hill right there in P8. Looking to get a little bit of control. That can happen when you go 3 wide with these trucks. Coming into turn number 3. Still behind Chastain, unable to get on his draft. So Infinger is going to be in front of us. Now Creed hops on our tail and gives us a little shove around. We jump up to the group in front, and this is where things get hectic, especially with that draft. And I hate getting stuck on the outside when it comes around to that section. Now, we are advancing a little bit to the final 2 laps of stage number 1. We're in P7. Ben Rhodes says, no, you're not, and he takes over P7 for us, dropping us down to P8 as we come into turns 3 and 4. But Rhodes slows up a little bit, and I try not to hit him, so we do let off the gas just slightly. But we are trying to gain his draft. Friesen has gotten stuck behind lap traffic. Self is in 30th. He's not going very fast. A poor performing car. And he blocks Friesen for us for a second. Coming around lap number 17 in P7, Friesen comes shooting up and down past us. And you can see the kind of car, the truck he's got available to him, as he just came shooting out like a damn missile. Coming out of turn number 2 onto this back straightaway, passes us and clears us easily. Coming into turns 3 and 4 here. Now they're getting held up by some of that lap traffic. I send it up wide and I lose control and bounce off the wall a little bit. And we're going to drop another position to Hill. Got to be careful doing that. We do finish P9, which gives us 2 stage points. But we've got to be careful doing that. You know, you do that, we can really mess up our car, wreck ourselves, knock ourselves out of the race, and so forth. So that one was a dangerous maneuver. Didn't really pay off for us in the end. In fact, we ended up dropping positions. So we finished stage 1 in in P number 9, and here we are getting ready for the beginning of stage 2. Now our tires are wearing down, but we did not pit, so I think we can hold them up for the remainder of P number 2. It's only going to be 14 laps. We got 63% on our right front. We should be able to hold on to this thing. It's just these turns are going to be a little bit more hectic as we come in with a lot of speed on them. Now coming out of turn number 2 onto the back straightaway, we are maintaining P9, but some guys are making runs. Zane Smith coming up right on our tail as we stay down low, and hopefully he can give us a push and we can try to get past Hill. And we actually are going to clear Austin Hill for now. Coming out of turn 3 and 4, we are in P8 right behind Rhodes. Hill battling us hard for that spot, and he's going to take it over just as we cross the finish line for lap number 1. And that's going to send us into P9 for just a second. Now coming into turns 1 and 2, taking the low path is working for us right now. We're able to maintain. Austin Hill almost tries to spin us right there. Tapping our bumper coming out of turn number 2. Tries to spin us a little bit. Maybe a little miffed off we got past him. But he's not able to make us lose control as we hold on. And coming around turns 3 and 4, we are still in P8 trying to get separation from him. Now we're unable to group up with any of these guys in front of us for right now. So sitting here in stage number 2, this has been a pretty good race. Keeping up with this group is tough, but hey, we've been able to do it so far. We need to just continue to drive smart. Now hopefully Austin Hill, our draft partner at this point, we are pretty well, I guess, friends with him as far as NASCAR Heat 5 goes. Can give us a little bit of shove, but he keeps kind of dropping out of our draft, so we're not getting too much of a push from him coming out of turn number 4. Trying to catch it. Chastain is in 7th, but they are pulling away. 1 through 7 are pulling away. And so now here we are a little bit later in stage 2, coming into the final 2 laps of stage 2. We have dropped to we've maintained P number 8, but that front 7 has just shot out of the cannon, and you can see they are miles ahead of us. So Austin Hill says, "You can kiss my keister, good sir." And he goes zooming right by us, dropping us down to P number 9 here on the back straightaway here in stage number 2. And he is still pulling out from us. Coming into these turns, we have to watch our speed a little bit. We do drift up the track a little much. I don't like it. Our truck just doesn't feel all that great and all that fast whenever we do it. And so we have to try to keep control. That's our main priority. Now we are here on the final lap of stage number 2, right on the tail of Austin Hill in P number 9. Coming onto the back straightaway here. I don't think we're going to be able to catch him in this one. So we will still take a top 10 finish for stage number 2. And it gives us a couple stage points. You know, we'll take what we can get at this time. So P9 coming out of turn 4 and into this front little weird goofy turn section. We take P9 for stage number 2, coming across that little stage 2 checkered. And that's going to give us 2 points right there. Now we are going to have to pit. We don't have a choice. One, fuel. We don't have enough fuel left for what's ahead, but mainly also our tires are really running down, especially on that right front, and there's no way that thing survives the rest of this race. So we do take 4 new tires. We take a couple cans of gas, and we actually come out of here in P number 7. We improved by 2 spots after that pit stop. So here we are, stage number 3, the third and final stage, going green in P7. Now this is a race. Rhodes and some of these guys have got better trucks than us. That has just been on display this whole race coming into this section. Now with those 4 tires, hopefully we could get a good jump. We didn't get as great of a one as I'd like to compared to the rest of the front running group. But we are maintaining with them right now, coming onto that back straightaway and coming into turns 3 and 4. Now this is going to be a fun little finish here if we can stick with this group. Coming out of turn 4, we're now in P number 6, actually having moved up a spot again. 1 lap into this thing. Right there looks like Chastain is in front of us, Friesen's in front of him. And this is going to be a fun little group to race with as we get down here. Hopefully we can make some good space before we actually all separate out and come into some of that lap traffic. But Crafton gets into our back bumper and slows us down, and we're going to drop back. We have to let off the gas so we don't lose control. Now we bumped Crafton at that point, just as a little, hey, what in the hell is your problem, buddy? as we go almost sliding into the wall, almost go sideways, and barely hold on to control. Now, the only way we did that was we slowed up and allowed everybody to get past us, so we're now here in P10. Zane Smith is our drafting partner as we try to get around Austin Hill again. But Smith not looking to stay with us, obviously, as he just tried to dive down low, and we had to block him up on that one as we come into turns 3 and 4 here on this back straightaway. Smith keeping up with us as we do get past Hill into a P9 position. Coming onto this front little goofy section, maintaining P number 9 right on Crafton's tail. He slides up to the top. We come down, we stay down low. We're fighting off for that P8. Austin Hill gets behind us. Nemechek right in front of us, P number 8. Here we are trying to maintain it. Hill giving us a shove. He's been a pretty good draft partner so far. Crafton takes P8 back from us as we hit turn number 3. But I think we're better set up coming out of turn number 4 to try to maintain it and keep that position. And if we can just have smart driving between us, Nemechek, and Hill, we should be able to kind of leave Crafton back there behind us. As we push down, Nemechek looked like he was sliding up, but he stays kind of down low and blocks us off. And we have to do it, and Crafton does it again to us, gets us slightly sideways almost. And that's going to make us slow up one more time. Hill gets around us. Crafton actually drops back that time. And that's starting to piss me off. I really want to just wreck him out at this stage of the race. I mean, this is ridiculous. That's twice he's done that to us now. Now we're lucky to maintain P number 9. As you'll see, the front group has separated itself out from the remainder of the group. And here we are at the end of stage number 3 and at the end of the Vancouver 350 at Texas Motor Speedway. If you look at the map, we are not lapped. We're in P10, but I'll be damned if they aren't trying to come up on us quick. We got 3 laps left to hold them off and avoid becoming lap traffic. Nemechek is in front of us. He slides down below White. White maintains kind of the lower side of the track as we go around him on the outside of turn number 2, and we're still in P10 spot. Nemechek is just taking off from us on this back straightaway. He's got a lot of pretty good speed coming out of those turns. Now coming into 3 and 4, he goes on the higher side. We stay down low, but he keeps up in front of us. We are closing the gap, but I don't know if it's quick enough for us to actually take over his position from him. So we'll have to see what we can pull off in these final 2 laps. Hopefully some of this other lap traffic gives us a little bit of a boost as we come through here. Now coming out of turn number 2, 2 laps, or well, lap and a half is remaining. We are on the back straightaway trying to catch Nemechek in front of us. I'm not sure that's going to be able to happen. His car is running too well. Ours is running about a little bit better than what we qualified for, you know, being in 17th, but I think the way these speedways are and the way these cars separate out, it's not like at Daytona, so we can't really draft as much. And these goofy little tri-oval sections in the front really mess with us and prevented us from, you know, maintaining a lot of speed and keeping up with that separation group. As we come around here to the final turns 3 and 4 of this race at Texas Motor Speedway. This is our home state, and we will take a top 10 finish, which is a pretty good finish for the kind of truck that we have. So we can be proud of that, but you just wish it would have been better. You know, what things could we have done better? And I'm not so sure there was too much outside of Crafton almost trying to spin us twice earlier in this race. So a pretty good race, pretty competitive. And that is actually going to lead us into our first Xfinity Hotseat, the Cheddar's 300 at Bristol Motor Speedway. Now this is a short track, but one thing about Bristol that I really enjoy is that these turns are heavily banked, so it allows us to keep some speed. Now we are driving the number 78 car, so obviously this is not our own car. We are driving number 78 and here for a hot seat. All we got to do is finish 33. I think there's only, 34 or 36 cars in a race. So qualifying in 19th, it pretty much has us led right there in that spot. Now this track should be fun to drive with. It's real quick, real fast pace, and you know, the later you get into these stages, the more cars that there are, the crazier it kind of gets. And if you can get a good run, you can advance up pretty quick. You don't have to have the greatest car in the world as long as you drive it the best. And so quickly, we are a couple laps into this already. We're in P number 18, looking to try to move up so, you know, these cars up front don't catch us from behind pretty damn quick. Here coming around almost 3 wide racing with Labe in the middle. As we stick to our line and we maintain, but Labe blocks us and we have to avoid running into him. But he is sticking right in front of us, being pretty arrogant about his positioning, looking for P17. We slide up and take it from him, but now we're right behind Clements. Like I said, this is 50% racing. So stage number 1 is 42 laps. 42 laps. This one is a gauntlet. It is a marathon, and it is craziness all at the same time. You see how fast these laps are going. We've already moved up into P number 16 spot. And if you look at the lead pack, they are separating themselves out already. But the trailers, if you look at the map, those lagging behind are almost going to be caught. And we're going to start running into that kind of traffic pretty dang quick here. So we may be able to once again make a splash, at least at the later part of these stages in general. So coming around the back straightaway, here we are in turns 3 and 4. As we get set to come around, watch our line right there. Make sure we keep as much speed as possible. Now here we are later in stage number 1, and we have moved ourselves up to the P3 spot, and I switched to the in-car camera. I just want to see what that's like racing on this one. And I don't know if it's just the fact I use a controller while racing or not, but it's just really weird. And I don't trust it at all being in this view. As I felt I was about to hit Labe coming around him trying to lap him. But if anything, I'm keeping them in that position so they don't get past. And I get caught by someone from behind me as we are here in the P3 spot, our first Xfinity race, sitting in the number 78 car. Looking to make a good chunk. A little bit of change right here, a little bit of scratch, if you will, with this additional race. Now we go back to our regular view because I'm sick and tired of that other one. P3 battling off a lot of damn cars right here as Howard is in front of us. And he just sticks in front of us and does not let us get past as Braxton goes around the outside to try to claim that number 3 spot, and he does. Now Haley goes on the outside of us once again, and he follows him. And Haley's going to pick up the P4 spot, so we drop all the way back to 5 right now. Battling with stupid Howard there in 32nd place. So now coming out of turns 1 and 2, we try to claim our 4th spot back. Not sure we're going to be able to do it on this one as Hallie dives down low a little bit to try to block us. Doesn't leave us with a whole lot of space as Braxton's in front of her, or him, as we come across for the final time, getting ready for the final time in stage 1, lap 42. Braxton blocks us, makes us check up on our brakes. And then we drop back behind Hallie as we are in P number 5. P5 here coming around for the last time from stage number 1. And that was a pretty good stage right there, going from, what was that, 19th all the way down to 5th. Pretty good run for us, 6 stage points. And it gets us in a good starting spot here for the next stage 2. Our tires are looking surprisingly good. Our car's looking very well. We've got plenty of fuel, so we are not going to pit this time around. And we're going to go ahead and get set up for stage number 2 here, maintaining the P5 position on the inside part of the track. So P5, as the green flag has dropped here for stage number 2, it's going to be 39 laps as we come into turns 1 and 2. Almost run into the back of Hallie and coming out and losing control a little bit. That's easily done here on this track, especially when you hit these turns as hard as we are. As we kind of slide up our tires a little bit and have to hit the brakes some. Now we drop back to P6. Hill kind of slides in around us, but we maintain and take back our P5 spot relatively quickly. So on the back straightaway here comes some more cars. And that's what you just got to be patient in this one. There's a lot of laps in these stages. So these first ones, they're going to be hectic. Cars are going to be trying to drive and, hit these turns aggressively, come out of these turns aggressively. Just maintain your spot, and then that'll allow us to buy some time later on. Okay, now we're maintaining P5, dropping down below Briscoe, and we actually end up going 3 wide. We bump into Briscoe for a little bit coming across that front straightaway. As we slide up on the turn, but maintain our position and actually move up to P3. and almost lose it though coming out of turn number 2 going into the wall. As we come back up and we have to check up on our back tires, and that's going to cause us to lose some speed once again, and now we're right back to P number 5. As Gragson comes to basically a screeching halt, we drop down and bump hill. We bump hill on the downside of the track coming out of the turn. But Gragson then comes down and gives us a little checkup. And he does it again, and we hit him pretty hard. That's going to have some damage to the car we're going to have to check on later. So still in the P5 spot. This is going to be a major push coming around for all these laps. You know we already have some damage. Gragson's just in front of us. Halley's in front of him. And this is going to be a tough one. So here we go now. We're back into stage number 2, the final couple laps. We have moved ourselves up to P3. As you can see, there's a bunch of lap traffic in front of us. There's a bunch of things happening going on. Burton is right there in P number 2, but they've got a bunch of cars in front of them, and now it's just trying to find the right line. Which one are we going to go with? As we drop down low, Black Jr. in P16 is trying to fight off being lapped by us, but I don't think he's going to be able to, as he's not. As we do get in front, but we have to slow up so much it becomes a little harder to control, as we then slide up the track to make a block on them and then dive back down into the bottom. Nemechek almost cuts us off on that one, coming on the back straightaway out of turn number 2. Now he shoots down into turn number 3. That's actually going to be slower for the cars behind us as we try the outside, and that's going to be beautiful and allow us to get some space. Stars on up high, we kind of bump into him. That's going to damage our bumper some, but we are going to need tires anyways. So turn number 3 and 4 on the backside, maintaining the P3 position, which will give us a good start coming into the beginning of stage number 3. As we cross that finish line in P3, we get the points, which doesn't really matter for us for Xfinity, right? We're just hot seat this season, so these points for Xfinity mean nothing to us. It's really just trying to make the good finish, get some cash, and be ready to develop our team going forward. But we do take third. And a lot of these cars are not pitting, which is kind of odd to me. I know we actually, I think, had pit before just from a caution flag. But I'm looking at it, and I think if we go ahead and pit now, it sets us up actually pretty decent, which we are going to do. Now, we've lapped enough cars. I know we're not going to drop all that far back. And, in fact, even with the pit stop, we drop all the way back to P11. That shows you how many cars have already been lapped so far. So the green flag has dropped, third and final stage. We are in P11. This is going to be some fun, crazy racing for these last half. As we come around turns 1 and 2 is maintaining our spot, but almost sliding up into Martin's there in the 10th spot. Now with the new tires, we're able to hold down the bottom of this track pretty well, and that's actually going to, I think, help us out as we get through this stage. Chastain is in front of us. Right there in 9th spot as we try to give him a little bump out of the way without damaging our car too much, and we move him up into P8. We're still in P10. Herb slides up to the top and we take over P9. Coming out of turn number 2 on the front. Actually, that was turn number 4. We're on the front straightaway. Now here comes turn number 1 and 2. We're in P9 position, looking to try to make something happen here before we let this front set of cars get too far away from us. And we're unable to make a whole lot of passes and actually catch up to them. That's the biggest thing. Got to keep them in sight so you can actually pass them. Here we go to the outside of Chastain, and we get in front of him. Gragson's now in front of us. We are in P8. We are in P8, just a couple laps into stage number 3 here, looking to make a move and make a name for ourselves in the Xfinity world. So when we start racing there next season, people are going to know who we are, and basically to stay out of our way, if you know what I mean. So after another little half lap, here we comes into turn 3 and 4. We're on lap 92 out of 150. As we almost slide up into the wall right there, trying to get as much speed out of that turn, but thankfully we hold on to it as we come into turns 1 and 2 with no other damage to our car so far here in stage number 3. Now we drop back down into turns number 3 and 4 down low, trying to get past Gragson in P number 7. And we will get past Gragson, and we will actually run a pretty good race as we get here into this final little segment. Basically, the final 10 laps, and we are in P3. We're racing to try to catch up to, I think that's Hill up there in P2. Yeah, it is. It's Hill in P2. But everybody's in lap traffic. If you look at the map down in the bottom left corner, you will see it is just a jumble of cars right there in front of each other. So we've got a chance. If our luck can break for us, we've got a chance. As we're taking a little bit higher of a turn of a lane when we come in and out of these turns, just because our tires are kind of worn down and we need as much speed as possible. Now look at that. They've gone ahead and they will actually take advantage. Annette comes in shooting down below us. We were on the high side, had to slow up a little bit. Annette says, "You can kiss my keister," as he comes shooting past us, but we go hard into the bumper, and that is definitely going to be doing damage to us on that one, make us a little less aerodynamic, a little bit harder to stick. I guess you could say that's more out of anger what I did, hitting Annette on that one. Now there's damn Howard back in front of us trying to race us hard, so we shoot it down below and get past him so I don't have to worry about him going forward and just let the other cars behind us deal with him. So the final few laps of this race as we come into turns 3 and 4, still trying to chase down P3. Right now we are in the 4th spot, but Annette is being held up by lap traffic. It's just going to depend on the line we take. Now Annette's stuck in the middle. We kind of bump into him, and then we're going to be able to stick to that high side, and that actually allows us to get past him for now. Now here we are diving down front, blocking them off and trying to get them stuck in that traffic as we go inside of Harmon. Hill is next in our sights. He's right there in front of us. Hill trying to get around some more traffic in these final few laps. As we follow him down low, Hill gets around the other hill. There's a couple hills out here. I'll be damned. I wonder which one is the king of the hill. Cheap joke. As we get down to the end of this finish. Lap 147, we hit a car hard. McLaughlin just would not get out of our way, and to be fair, we lost a little bit of control on that one as we slide up into McLaughlin hard, which thankfully prevented us from hitting a wall. But we do lose a lot of speed right there. Hill gets some separation. We only got about 3 laps left, and it doesn't look like in our mirror anybody's really threatening us from behind. It's kind of hard to take a look because of how quick these laps are going. But we do have some groups in front of us. The leader is right there in that group of 3. So we just have to catch up to them and try to make something happen. Hill comes up and gets caught up in that group. We're now at a lap and a half remaining in this one. Here we come to close in on Hill. As we dive down low, Hill stuck up top. Can we get at least around him in this final lap? Williams blocking him off, and we'll take over lap P2 as Burton is now in our sights coming out of turn number 1 on the back straightaway. I don't think we're going to catch him as long as... Oh, no, he gets around the traffic. So he is going to remain P1. We will take P2 on our first Xfinity race hot seat, the Cheddar's 300 at Bristol Motor Speedway. That was a great race and a great finish for us, and that'll definitely help set us up in the future for some successful racing, I think. The money we'll take from this, we'll be able to do a lot with it. So that was a good little hot seat to kind of get completed. Now that hot seat is completed, we are partially through our series. It's still early in the NASCAR Truck Series season, so we will be advancing through that, simulating some of these races, and we will be catching up with everything else in the next episode. So I will see y'all in that episode, everybody. Thank y'all for joining us. Thank y'all for all the support y'all have shown this channel and the beginning of this series going forward. It's crazy to see, and I can't tell y'all how much I truly do appreciate it. So once again, thank y'all for joining us. I will see y'all in the next episode. So as always, everybody stay safe, and well, y'all know how it goes by now, right? Later, y'all.